Chapter 24. Someone Waits for Me. We had voted for our junior high school Valentine's Day dance queen and king and their court. The winners would be crowned the night of the dance. So preparations for the dance got underway, and there was a lot to do. The teachers let us kids plan the whole thing, from decorations and refreshments to music selections. Some of us volunteered to be on the setup committee, and others volunteered to do cleanup. Our moms pitched in to help us make punch and cookies. Some of us girls spent hours making carnation flowers out of Kleenex tissues, and the boys fashioned a big chicken wire heart that we covered with crepe paper and Kleenex carnations. We twisted lengths of crepe paper that, at the last minute, would be hung in swooping rope streamers across the ceiling of the music room where the dance would be held. We girls spent a lot of time planning what we were going to wear. Most of us had already started wearing patent leather shoes with 1-inch heels to Sunday school, so a new pair for the dance was a must. And great news! I got my half-body cast cut off the week before the dance. I still held my right arm like it was in the cast because my arm had not fully gained its strength back. I wore a bat-winged blouse that Mama made to cover up the cast. I was asked to the dance by a 7th grader. His name was David Brown, and he was really cute. But I could not say yes to him. He was a 7th grader, for gosh sakes, a 7th grader. Even though he was very sweet, and did I mention cute, I simply could not go to the dance with a 7th grader. I would be so embarrassed. A 7th grader, good grief. So I went stag with my girlfriends. All of us faced a very important question. For the boys it was, should I ask a girl for a date? And for the girls it was, will anyone ask me to go to the dance with him? There was a boy that I liked. I was, what we called back then, crushed out on this boy. That meant that I liked him a lot, which should have been good, because I think he liked me too. He and his friends teased me almost nonstop. But I wasn't sure because I could not talk to him to find out for sure. The fact is, I could not talk to any boy at the time that I was at all interested in, because when I did, I would get all flustered and say something real stupid. Heck, I couldn't even look at him, let alone open my mouth and actually say something. I hoped he would ask me to the dance with him. He didn't. He and his buddies all went stag. Then Valentine's Day arrived. We were all excited about the upcoming dance. I got to the elementary school music room early because I was on the refreshment committee and had to help Judy Morrison and Sandy Hearn set up the punch bowl and set out the cookies. I was somewhat limited in what I could do because of the recent removal of my half-body cast, but I could help a little. The class sponsors, Mrs. Lois Cook and Mr. Don Berlin, were there. Alden Althoff was there. He had been assigned to be in charge of the records and record player, which had been connected to the music room sound system. Tommy Snook came along to help Alden. Most of the records belonged to Tommy. They had the music playing softly about 15 minutes before the kids started arriving. The boys had unscrewed some of the overhead lights, so lighting in the room was dim. A few of the stage lights were on, but the stage curtains were pulled halfway closed. Everything had a soft glow. About 5 minutes before the dance was to start, my junior high school classmates began to arrive. All the girls looked so pretty in their finery, and most of the boys actually wore suits. Some of the girls went to the beauty parlor to have their hair styled for the evening, and those girls who had dates wore corsages. I was so jealous. At first, the boys stood around surveying the room. The girls stood around talking to one another and pretending not to notice the boys. Janet Winkman danced every dance with her date. He dipped her and twirled her. We watched, fascinated. Jeannie Ferguson danced to every song with a different partner. She had so much fun, laughing and creating new dance steps. I wished I was outgoing like Jeannie. Rena Uppendahl was enjoying the music, but she was engrossed in a deep conversation with one of the teacher chaperones. We had all learned to square dance in 6th grade, and Tommy Snook spent most of the fast dances maneuvering a girl through square dance steps. He danced with several of the girls. He was having a good time. Dickie Hawfine was handsome, well-developed, and athletic. He had dark hair and an Elvis swagger about him. He made out in the cloakroom with ... I won't tell you who. Those who were there already know. Judy Morrison and Janet Ritchie sat on the sidelines with their heads together, whispering and giggling about some big new secret. Sharon Hall, Joe Schwabauer, and I sat on the benches that had been scooted up next to the walls. We watched the dancers. As I watched the dancing and all of the fun, I regretted that I had said no to David Brown. I realized it wouldn't have been so bad to go to the dance with a 7th grader, but it was too late. Most of the dances required having a partner to dance. However, Itsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny Yellow Polka Dot Bikini by Brian Hyland was popular that year, and when Alden started it spinning, most of us took to the floor even without a partner. The Beatles didn't come into our world until a couple of years later. The hard-grooving Motown sound had not yet caught on, at least not in the Midwest. Alden put on the first slow dance of the night, Brenda Lee singing I'm Sorry. The kids with dates swayed, while the rest of us watched and swooned. When I heard Nat King Cole singing Unforgettable, I experienced a moment that changed my outlook on life forever. He was there, and he was heading my way. I kept my eyes firmly on the floor. 7th grade cutie, David, walked right up to me. He turned to my right and asked Joe, "Can I have this dance?" I wanted to fall through the floor. My face turned 20 shades of red and burned like it did when I had a sunburn in the summer. I was so embarrassed, but I couldn't move. When the song ended, David escorted Joe back to where we were sitting. My heart was beating fast. I could tell he wanted to say something to me. I hoped it would be something good. He took a step closer and looked deep into my eyes. His were blue. I held my breath. David said, "You're shorter than I remembered." And he turned and walked away. The rest of the evening passed in a blur. When we heard Chubby Checker singing Peppermint Twist, almost everyone rushed to the floor and tried to do the twist. I danced along with everybody else to the fast songs. Some kids were more agile than others. I've been telling stories since the age of 3, and I'm happy to have published the books of my father, Max, brother Tommy, and sister Lonetta Slusser Knutson. All of our books are published through Amazon and Kindle. www.amazon.com/author/Donnis Crane.